fear.
Forspoken is a story-driven adventure game that takes place in a dystopian future where society has collapsed and a mysterious voice known as the Forspoken holds the key to humanity's survival. Players take on the role of a character who must navigate through a harsh, post-apocalyptic landscape while uncovering clues and making choices that will ultimately determine the fate of humanity. The game features stunning graphics and a captivating storyline that will keep players engaged for hours. The gameplay is a combination of exploration, puzzle solving, and decision-making, which will test players' problem-solving skills and ability to make quick decisions. One of the most unique features of Forspoken is its branching narrative, which means that players will encounter different situations and outcomes depending on the choices they make. This adds a level of replayability to the game, as players can go back and make different choices to see how it affects the outcome of the story. Overall, Forspoken is a must-play for fans of story-driven games and those looking for a unique gaming experience. I highly recommend giving it a try.
Brace yourselves.
For those who may not be familiar with the original game, Dead Space is a survival horror game that was first released in 2008. Players take on the role of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, an engineer stranded on a mining spaceship overrun by deadly creatures known as necromorphs. The game was praised for its intense atmosphere, innovative gameplay mechanics, and gruesome creature design. The remake, set to release in 2023, promises to bring the game back to life with updated graphics, improved gameplay mechanics, and new features that will make the experience even more terrifying. The developers have taken the original game's levels and expanded upon them, adding new areas to explore and new challenges to face. This will give players a chance to experience the game in a whole new way and discover new secrets that were not present in the original game. In addition to the updated level design, the game will also feature updated graphics and special effects that will make the necromorphs even more terrifying to face. The game's sound design has also been completely reworked, with new sound effects and an updated soundtrack that will make the game even more immersive. The game will also feature a new difficulty mode, Classic Mode, which will bring back the hardcore experience of the original game. Players will have to manage their resources carefully and make every shot count in order to survive. So, are you excited for the remake of Dead Space? Let us know in the comments below.
But we don't have much time.
Atomic Heart is a first-person shooter set in an alternate universe where the Soviet Union has not collapsed, and the country is on the brink of collapse due to a mysterious malfunction of all robotic equipment. Players take on the role of a special agent sent to investigate the malfunction, and soon find themselves fighting for survival against hordes of malfunctioning robots and other deadly creatures. One of the most exciting features of the game is the unique setting, which combines elements of science fiction and Soviet-era architecture and designed to create a truly unique world to explore. The game features a vast open-world environment, and players will have the freedom to explore the game's vast landscapes and discover the secrets of the malfunction and the fate of the world. The game's combat system is also a standout feature, with players able to use a variety of weapons, including both traditional firearms and futuristic energy weapons, to take on the game's deadly robotic enemies. Players will also be able to use stealth and hacking to take down enemies in new ways and discover new paths through the game's level. The game also features an advanced AI system that allows enemies to react dynamically to the player's actions, making each encounter feel unique and challenging. Fans of first-person shooter and science fiction games will find a lot to love in this game. Hogwarts Legacy is an action role-playing game set in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Players take on the role of a new student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and will have the opportunity to explore the iconic locations from the Harry Potter series, meet beloved characters, and learn powerful magic. The game is set in the 1800s, long before Harry Potter's time at Hogwarts, and promises to offer fans of the series an entirely new story to immerse themselves in. Players will be able to create their own character and customize their appearance, abilities, and even their house. They will also be able to attend classes, learn new spells, and discover new secrets about the wizarding world. One of the most exciting features of the game is the ability to explore Hogwarts and the surrounding areas in an open-world environment. Players will be able to visit familiar locations such as the Great Hall, the Forbidden Forest, and Hogsmeade Village, and discover new locations that were not present in the Harry Potter books or movies. The game also features a branching narrative, which means that players' choices and actions will have a real impact on the story and their relationships with other characters. It will allow players to experience the story in a way that is unique to them and will make the game even more immersive. Fans of Harry Potter have been eagerly awaiting a game that allows them to fully immerse themselves in the wizarding world. and Hogwarts Legacy promises to deliver just that. From the opportunity to attend classes and learn spells, to the ability to explore iconic locations and discover new secrets, this game has something for every Harry Potter fan.
Your legacy begins now. Hogwarts Legacy. Live the unwritten.
Sons of the Forest is the sequel to the popular survival horror game The Forest. Set in the same dense forest, the game takes place after the events of the first game and follows the story of a new protagonist who is stranded in the forest and must survive against the elements and terrifying creatures that inhabit the forest. One of the most exciting features of the game is the return to the open-world environment. Players will once again be able to explore the dense forest, discover new locations and secrets, and gather resources to survive. The game also features a dynamic weather and day-night cycle, making the forest feel alive and constantly changing. The game also promises to offer a unique and intense combat experience, with players able to use a variety of weapons and tools to defend themselves against the creatures of the forest. The game's AI system allows enemies to react to the player's actions and movements, making each encounter feel unique and challenging. Another standout feature of the game is the crafting system, which allows players to create a variety of weapons and tools to aid in their survival. Players will have to gather resources and materials found in the forest to create items that will help them survive. Sons of the Forest is a highly anticipated sequel for fans of the first game, The Forest, and for those who love survival horror game. The game promises to offer an even more immersive and terrifying experience than the first game, with an open-world environment, dynamic weather and day-night cycles, and challenging combat system. The Day Before is an open-world survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world. Players must scavenge for resources, build shelter, and fend off hostile survivors as they struggle to survive in a world ravaged by a deadly virus. The game is highly reminiscent of the popular game DayZ, which also features a post-apocalyptic open-world survival gameplay, where players have to scavenge for resources, build shelter, and fend off hostile survivors. One of the unique features of the game is the dynamic weather system, which affects the player's survival in a realistic way. Cold temperatures and harsh storms can make it difficult to find shelter and warmth, while heat waves can dehydrate the player and make it harder to find water. Players will also have to contend with a variety of other hazards, including wild animals and other survivors who may not have their best interests at heart. The game's AI system makes for a truly immersive experience, with non-player characters reacting to the player's actions in realistic ways. The Day Before also features a robust crafting system, allowing players to build a variety of tools and weapons to aid in their survival. Players can also team up with other survivors online to take on the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world together. We're excited to see what players will experience in this game. Are you? The Day Before is set to release on the 1st of March 2023. Are you ready for the return of one of the most iconic horror franchises in gaming history? Resident Evil 4 is back and it's better than ever. The game takes place 6 years after the events of the original Resident Evil, and follows Leon S. Kennedy, a special agent sent to rescue the president's daughter from a mysterious cult in a rural village in Spain. But as Leon delves deeper into the village, he discovers that the cult is hiding a dark secret. They've been experimenting with a virus that turns people into terrifying monsters. One of the most notable aspects of Resident Evil 4 is the game's new over-the-shoulder camera, which gives players a more immersive and intense experience. The game also introduces new enemies, such as the terrifying Los Ganados, who are infected villagers controlled by the cult. But it's not just the enemies that are new in Resident Evil 4. The game also introduces new weapons, such as the powerful hand cannon, and new puzzles to solve, keeping players on the edge of their seats. Resident Evil 4 is a true classic, and this remastered version is the perfect opportunity for new players to experience the game for the first time, or for returning players to relive the terror all over again.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Hey there, horror fans. Are you ready to face your darkest fears? Death in the Water 2 is set to release on January 26, 2023, and it's the sequel to the critically acclaimed survival horror game. The game takes place on an isolated island, where a group of researchers have gone missing while investigating a mysterious underwater facility. As the player, you take on the role of a member of a rescue team sent to investigate the disappearance. But as you explore the island and the facility, you'll soon realize that something sinister is lurking beneath the surface. One of the standout features of Death in the Water 2 is its intense atmosphere. The game combines survival horror with a deep-sea diving setting, immersing players in a claustrophobic and terrifying underwater world. The game also features a new enemy AI system, making the creatures more unpredictable and harder to evade. But Death in the Water 2 is not just about the scares. The game also features a deep and compelling story, filled with twists and turns that will keep players on the edge of their seats. Mark your calendars. Death in the Water 2 is set to release on the 26th of January 2023. Don't miss out on the intense horror action and adventure. Dead Island 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the 2011 hit game Dead Island. Set in California, players will have to navigate through a zombie-infested open world as they try to survive and uncover the truth behind the outbreak. The game features a new protagonist, new weapons and combat mechanics, and a dynamic weather system that affects both gameplay and the zombie themselves. Players can expect to see both new and returning enemy types, as well as a variety of vehicles to aid in their survival. One of the most exciting new features of Dead Island 2 is the ability to play co-op with up to 3 players. This allows players to team up and take on the hordes of zombies together, making for a truly intense and immersive experience. Dead Island 2 is set to be released on Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC in 2023. With its stunning visuals, intense gameplay, and deep story, Dead Island 2 is shaping up to be one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. Starfield is an upcoming action role-playing Wild Hearts is an upcoming action-adventure game developed by a new independent studio. The game takes place in a mystical and magical world, where players take on the role of a young hero on a quest to save the land from an ancient evil. One of the most striking aspects of Wild Hearts is its stunning art style, featuring a vibrant and colorful world filled with lush forests, towering mountains, and mysterious ruins. Players will have the opportunity to explore this world and discover its secrets, as well as encounter a wide variety of creatures and enemies. Combat in Wild Hearts is fast-paced and action-packed, with players using a variety of weapons and abilities to defeat enemies. In addition to the main quest, players will also have the opportunity to take on side quests and other challenges, as well as collect rare items and treasures. Another exciting feature of Wild Hearts is the ability to ride different animals and use them in combat to defeat enemies. This will add a new layer of depth to the gameplay and make the player feel more connected to the world. Wild Hearts is set to be released on the 16th of February 2023 for Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.
I don't know no girl.
The Last of Us Part 1 is an upcoming action-adventure game from Naughty Dog, the creators of the critically acclaimed Uncharted series. The game is a remastered version of the 2013 hit title, The Last of Us, which is widely considered one of the greatest video games of all time. The Last of Us Part 1 takes place in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by infected creatures and hostile human survivors. Players take on the role of Joel, a hardened survivor who is tasked with escorting a young girl named Ellie across the country in order to find a group of resistance fighters known as the Firefly. One of the most highly anticipated features of The Last of Us Part 1 is the game's stunning visual and technical improvements. The game has been rebuilt from the ground up to take full advantage of modern hardware, featuring improved character models, enhanced lighting, and updated textures. This allows the game to look more realistic and immersive than ever before. Players can expect to experience the same award-winning story and gameplay that made the original game so beloved. The game's combat system is a combination of stealth and action, allowing players to take on enemies using a variety of weapons, as well as using the environment to their advantage. The Last of Us Part 1 is set to be released for PlayStation 5 and PC on the 3rd of March 2023. With its stunning visuals, intense gameplay, and emotional story, The Last of Us Part 1 is shaping up to be one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. If you're a fan of the original game or simply looking for a new action-adventure experience, The Last of Us Part 1 is a game you won't want to miss.
The Order is gone.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is an upcoming action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe. Developed by EA Games, the game is set to take players on an epic journey through a galaxy far, far away as they take on the role of a young Jedi survivor. One of the most exciting aspects of Star Wars Jedi Survivor is its open-world environment. Players will have the freedom to explore a wide variety of iconic Star Wars locations, from the deserts of Tatooine to the forests of Endor. Along the way, players will encounter a wide variety of enemies, including stormtroopers, Sith Lords, and even giant Edit Walkers. Combat in Star Wars Jedi Survivor is fast-paced and action-packed, with players using a variety of lightsabers and force powers to defeat enemies. Players will also have the ability to upgrade their abilities and equipment to become more powerful as they progress through the game. Another exciting feature of Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the ability to fly various Star Wars ships, including the X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon, and engage in epic space battles. Players will be able to fly through asteroid fields, dogfight with enemy ships, and even take on massive cruisers. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is set to be released for Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC on the 17th of March 2023. Diablo IV is an upcoming action RPG game from Blizzard Entertainment, the creators of the critically acclaimed Diablo series. The game is the long-awaited fourth installment in the series and is set to take players on an epic journey through the world of Sanctuary. Diablo IV promises to offer players a dark, gritty, and intense gaming experience, with a focus on fast-paced, visceral combat. Players will have the opportunity to choose from a variety of classes, each with their own unique abilities and playstyles. The game will also feature a deep and rewarding character progression system, allowing players to customize and power up their characters as they progress through the game. One of the most exciting new features of Diablo IV is the game's open-world environment. Players will have the freedom to explore a vast and seamless world filled with a variety of enemies, dungeons, and other challenges. But what makes it even more exciting is the game's crossplay and cross-progression feature. This means players will be able to play with their friends no matter what platform they are on, and they will also be able to pick up their progress from one platform to another, allowing them to continue their journey wherever they go. Diablo IV also promises to have a strong emphasis on player choice and consequence, where the player's decisions will shape the game's world and story. The game will also introduce a new skill tree system that allows players to tailor their abilities to suit their playstyle. Diablo IV is set to be released for Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC on the 6th of June 2023. With its fast-paced combat, deep character progression, open-world exploration, and the convenient crossplay and cross-progression feature, Diablo IV is shaping up to be a must-play game for fans of the Diablo series and action RPGs in general. Hollow Knight Silksong is the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed indie game, Hollow Knight, developed by Team Cherry. The game features a new playable character, Hornet, who is on a journey to uncover the mysteries of her kingdom. Players can expect the same tight, precise combat mechanics and challenging difficulty from the original game, as well as new abilities, enemies, and bosses for Hornet to battle. The game's hand-drawn art style and hauntingly beautiful soundtrack are also returning, with new areas and secrets to discover. One of the most exciting new features of Silksong is the addition of new playable characters, each with their own unique abilities and playstyles. This opens up new possibilities for exploration and combat, and provides even more replayability than the first game. Silksong is set to release on PC, Mac, Linux, and Nintendo Switch, with a release date yet to be announced. Overall, Hollow Knight Silksong would be a worthy successor to the original game, and fans of Hollow Knight are eagerly awaiting for its release. If you're a fan of challenging and rewarding action-adventure games, then you won't want to miss out on Silksong. Alan Wake 2 is the long-awaited sequel to the 2010 psychological horror game developed by Remedy Entertainment. The game follows the story of Alan Wake, a best-selling author who finds himself in the middle of a mysterious and deadly event known as the Dark Presence. The first game was praised for its storytelling, atmosphere, and the use of light and darkness mechanics, which will return in the sequel. Players can expect an even more thrilling and intense experience as they delve deeper into the world of Alan Wake and the sinister forces that threaten to consume it. One of the new features that players can look forward to in Alan Wake 2 is the inclusion of an open-world environment. allowing players to explore and discover new secrets and locations at their own pace. Additionally, the game will feature new weapons and abilities for players to use in combat against the darkness. The release date for Alan Wake 2 has not been announced yet, but fans of the original game are eagerly awaiting for its release. It is set to release on Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, and PC. Overall, Alan Wake 2 promises to be a worthy successor to the original game, with new and exciting gameplay features, an even more intense and thrilling story, and a beautifully crafted open-world environment. If you're a fan of psychological horror games, then you won't want to miss out on Alan Wake 2. Assassin's Creed Mirage is the latest installment in the critically acclaimed Assassin's Creed franchise, developed by Ubisoft. The game is set in an alternate history where the Ottoman Empire never fell, and players will take on the role of a new assassin from the Levantine Brotherhood, fighting against the Templars in a grand epic story. The game is set to introduce new gameplay mechanics, including new weapons, abilities, and tools that players can use to take on the Templars and their powerful new enemies. The game will also feature a new and improved Parker system that allows players to navigate the game's open-world environment with more fluidity and ease. Assassin's Creed Mirage is also set to have a new and improved stealth system, which will allow players to use the environment to their advantage and take out their enemies in new and creative ways. The game will also feature a new multiplayer mode, which will allow players to team up with friends and take on the Templars together. The release date for Assassin's Creed Mirage has not been announced yet, but fans of the franchise are eagerly waiting for its release. It is set to release on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and Series S, Xbox One, and PC. Payday 3 is the highly anticipated third installment in the popular first-person shooter co-opus game series, Payday, developed by Starbreeze Studios. The game continues the story of the Payday gang as they plan and execute bigger and bolder heists. Players can expect the same intense and adrenaline-pumping gameplay from the previous games, as well as new weapons, abilities, and heists to tackle. The game's 4-player co-opus mode returns, allowing players to team up with friends and take on the toughest heists together. One of the most exciting new features of Payday 3 is the addition of a new crime net system, which allows players to take on heists and other criminal activities in real time with other players, adding a new level of replayability and immersion to the game. The release date for Payday 3 has not been announced yet, but fans of the series are eagerly awaiting its release. It is set to release on Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, and PC. Overall, Payday 3 promises to be a worthy successor to the previous games in the series, with new and exciting gameplay features, an even more intense and thrilling experience, and a new level of replayability. Gamers, get ready for the ultimate adventure with the upcoming release of Redfall. This highly anticipated game is set to take the gaming world by storm with its stunning graphics, immersive gameplay, and a vast open world to explore. In Redfall, players will take on the role of a powerful warrior on a quest to save the kingdom of Redfall from a mysterious threat. With a variety of weapons, magic, and skills to master, the possibilities are endless as players navigate through challenging battles and solve puzzles to uncover the secrets of the game. But Redfall isn't just about action and adventure. It also offers players a chance to immerse themselves in a rich and detailed fantasy world, filled with unique characters, cultures, and lore. Redfall is set to be a true masterpiece of the gaming industry. Mark your calendars and get ready for the release of Redfall, available on all major gaming platforms. Don't miss out on this epic journey, and be sure to follow the game's official social media channels for updates and exclusive content. Get ready to experience the next level of gaming with Redfall.
With consciousness.
Going up.
Let's finish this.
Are you ready for a journey unlike any other? A journey that will take you to the edge of survival, where danger lurks around every corner and the unknown awaits. A journey to the heart of the Chornobyl exclusion zone, a place where the world as we know it no longer exists. This is the world of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chornobyl, the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed game. In this game, you'll play as a stalker, a survivor of the nuclear accident, who will explore the Forbidden Zone. You'll have to use all your skills to survive the harsh environment, the mutants, and other stalkers. You'll have to make choices that will affect the course of the story, and ultimately your fate. But this is not just a game, it's an experience. The developers have worked tirelessly to make it as authentic as possible. Using real-life locations and historical events, they've created a world that will immerse you completely. The game features stunning graphics, a dynamic day-night cycle, and a vast open world to explore. Follow the game's official social media channels for updates and exclusive content. Get ready to dive into the heart of Chornobyl and discover the secrets that lie within. Are you ready for the ultimate survival experience? S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chornobyl is waiting for you. So, are you excited for these games? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest news and information about the games. Thanks for watching.
My men are still lying out there, and I can't even bury them.